Hello and welcome to Excellence Noir. Today we are talking about Claudette Colvin. She was the forerunner to the Montgomery bus civil rights movement. Before Rosa Parks, there was Claudette Colvin. So let's begin. Claudette Colvin was born Claudette Austin in Montgomery, Alabama on September 5th, 1939, to Mary Jane Gadsden and C.P. Austin. When Claudette's dad abandoned the family, her mom was unable to financially support her children. Claudette and her younger sister Delphine were taken in by their great aunt and uncle. Claudette and her sister referred to the Colvins as their parents and took their last name. Was a member of the NAACP Youth Council, where she formed a close relationship with her mentor, Rosa Parks. In 1955, Claudette was a student at the segregated Booker T. Washington High School in the city. She relied on the city's buses to get to and from school because her family did not own a car. The majority of customers on the bus were Black Americans. They were discriminated against because of custom segregated seating, which forced Blacks to sit at the back of the bus. 2nd, 1955, Claudette was returning home from school when she boarded a bus and sat down near an emergency exit in the middle row of the bus. When all front of the bus seats, which were considered the white seats, were filled and white people were standing, any Black American was supposed to get up from nearby seats to make room for whites, move further to the back, and stand in the aisle if there were no free seats in that section. A white woman who got on the bus was left standing in the front of the bus. The bus driver, Robert W. Clear, commanded Claudette and 3 other Black women in her row to move to the back. The other 3 moved, but another Black woman, Ruth Hamilton, who was pregnant, got on the bus and sat next to Claudette. The bus driver looked at the woman in his mirror and he asked her and Claudette both to get up. The woman, Mrs. Hamilton, said she was not going to get up and that she had paid her fare and that she didn't feel like standing, recalls Claudette. She says, "I told him, the bus driver, I was not going to get up either. So the bus driver told her, if you are not going to get up, I will get a policeman." The police arrived and convinced the Black man sitting behind the 2 women to move so that Mrs. Hamilton could move back, but Claudette still refused to move. She was forcibly removed from the bus and arrested by the 2 policemen. She was arrested for defying bus segregation. At 15 years old, Claudette Colvin refused to give up her seat to a white passenger on a segregated Montgomery city bus, 9 months before Rosa Parks became widely known for her act of resistance on a Montgomery bus. Following her arrest, Claudette became pregnant, which civil rights leaders at the time believed would make her an unsuitable public symbol for the movement due to prevailing social attitudes at the time. Claudette says, "My mother told me to be quiet about what I did. She told me let Rosa be the one. White people aren't going to bother Rosa. Her skin is lighter than yours, and they like her." Claudette was thinking about a school paper she had wrote that day about the local customs that prohibited Black people from using the dressing rooms in order to try on clothes in department stores. In a later interview, she said, "We couldn't try on clothes. You had to take a brown paper bag and draw a diaphragm of your foot and take it to the store," referring to the segregation on the bus and the white woman. Claudette says, "If she sat down in the same row as me, it meant I was good as her." The police officers who took her to the station made sexual comments about her body and took turns guessing her bra size through the ride. And I found that just absolutely disgusting. But unfortunately, this was something that happened a lot during that time period, and probably before it. Well, more than likely before it. One officer jumped in the back seat of the police car, Claudette recalled, and she says that she put her knees together and crossed her hands over her lap and started praying. She was very scared that they would sexually assault her because this happened frequently during this time period. According to historian Danielle McGuire, documented that sexual violence against Black women was an everyday occurrence used as a weapon to maintain racial control. Police officers frequently subjected Black women to sexual harassment, groping, and assaults in police cars, in jail, or on the street, often with complete immunity. Claudette was bailed out by her minister, who told her that she had brought the revolution to Montgomery. Claudette says she was branded a troublemaker by many in her community. She withdrew from college and struggled in the local environment. On May 6, 1955, she was convicted on all 3 charges in juvenile court. When Claudette's case was appealed to the Montgomery Circuit Court, the charges of disturbing the peace and violating the segregation laws were dropped. Although her conviction for assaulting a police officer was upheld. Claudette was one of 4 plaintiffs in the first federal court case filed by civil rights attorney Fred Gray on February 1st, 1956. Broder versus Gale, which challenged bus segregation in Montgomery, Alabama. On June 13, 1956, the court ruled that state and local laws enforcing bus segregation in Alabama was unconstitutional. The state appealed the decision to the United States Supreme Court, which upheld the lower court's ruling on November 13, 1956. 1 month later, the Supreme Court affirmed the order for Montgomery and the state of Alabama to end bus segregation. As a result, the Montgomery bus boycott, which had lasted over a year, was officially called off. The ruling ultimately led to the declaration that all segregation on public transportation was unconstitutional. Claudette had a son, Randy, who was an accountant in Atlanta, and she has 4 grandchildren. In 2021, a judge ordered the expungement of Claudette Colvin's juvenile arrest record, officially clearing her name more than 65 years after her act of resistance on the Montgomery bus that day. This action symbolized long overdue recognition of her courage and the injustice she faced. Claudette died under hospice care in Texas on January 13, 2026, at the age of 86. Claudette Colvin is important because she challenged segregation before it was politically safe to do so, and at an age when most people would not dare confront authority. So hats off to Miss Claudette Colvin, and may she rest in peace. And thank you so much for watching.